you're on a roll and you have this massive dose of inspiration about moving your business forward, and you're taking action, you're learning new things, you're networking, you're speaking, picking up the phone, and it's like everything is clicking and the stars are aligning and you're just about to have your big breakthrough and move farther forward in your business than you ever have before, when something happens. There's some event that challenges you. Maybe you have a pissed off client that asks for a refund, or a family member that gets really sick. Or maybe you have like the worst fight ever with your significant other and you get distracted and you quickly lose inspiration and stop taking action. Now, chances are you have experienced this before, and maybe even many times, and maybe you're experiencing it right now. But have you ever wondered why this happens? Like when we're so close to a breakthrough. I'm Colleen Suchecki, founder of BelieveGrowShine.com. And what I want to talk about in today's video is what is really screwing up your next financial breakthrough. All right, so let's start with a foundational truth from which I live my life and where I'm coming from when I'm working with my private clients. All right, so the truth is that you are the creator of your reality. Life does not happen to you, you create it, which means that you are the only one that can hold you back. It's not your significant other, not the economy, it's not your family, the weather, your location, your neighbor. It's you. Now this can be good news and bad news. It's good news because it means that you have the power to create what you want. Now, it may seem like bad news because to create what you really want means that more than likely that there's something about you that needs to change. Some pattern, belief, some fear. And change can be really, really uncomfortable. So uncomfortable that we're going to want to look at changing anything else besides ourselves. Now, if you do not believe that you are the creator of your reality, then I'm going to save you some time right now and let you know that this video is not for you. But if this is what you do believe, then you definitely want to keep watching. So here's the thing. Intellectually, you know you're the creator of your reality. And like I said, that means that you have all the power to create what you want. But then why do you not have what you want if you're the creator? Well, the reason why is that right now you're operating from a level of power that you've become comfortable with, but it's not your full power. So here's what's stopping you, is that stepping into the next level of your power has become a trigger for you. Now let me explain what a trigger is. I want to give you an example. So remember back when you were in high school or college and you were dating someone that was like the love of your life at the time, and everything was beautiful and magical, and you had your song together. And then that person breaks up with you, and you're devastated, like heartbroken. And you're driving in the car months later, and that song comes on the radio, and you're instantly bawling your eyes out. And all of the emotion comes back, and all you can think about is that person. It's like the breakup just happened all over again. Well, that song has become a trigger for your heartbreak, or you could call it a trauma. In reality, there's no connection between that song and that person except in your nervous system. So until you heal from that experience, that song will always be a trigger for you, no matter how long ago it was. So in order to understand why stepping into your power more is a trigger for you and how it relates to holding you back from your next financial breakthrough, I want to explain what happens in your body when you go through a trauma. Now, when I use the word trauma, I'm talking about any experience that has a negative impact on you. It could be a divorce, infidelity, a health crisis, sexual abuse, physical abuse, emotional abuse. Childhood traumas like being bullied or having a parent that was super critical and you never felt like you were good enough. It could be losing a loved one. The thing that you often don't realize is how deeply that event impacts you. So when you go through a trauma, your nervous system changes, your physiology changes, your body goes into the fight or flight states. Some call it survival mode. Some call it stress mode. They're all the same thing. So there's connections that are made that were never there before. There are limiting beliefs that get put in place, fears, different way of looking at yourself or how the world works. And these changes are all permanent until you heal from that trauma. And this is when the triggers get put into place. So it's the past traumas that you've gone through and whether or not you have healed from those traumas that determines how much you're in your power. Now, the more past traumas that you have healed from, means the more you can be in your power to create what you want. But if you have past traumas that you've not healed from, that you've just coped from, you've just survived, they still have power over you. The less in your power you're going to be. So the more likely you will be to give your power to other people, usually without even realizing it. So let's talk about how triggers show up in your business, specifically related to your power and how they're preventing you from having your next financial breakthrough. So I want to share a client story with you. Now, I had this client, when she first started coming to me, she was making about $3,000 to $5,000 a month in her business. And she had invested in learning business strategy and marketing and how to have sales conversations and how to use speaking. And she was implementing all the things she learned, but her business wasn't growing. And she became really frustrated. So she was taking lots of action. She would actually start to build momentum and then something would happen. Her daughter got sick and then she had a huge fight with her husband. But she didn't know why she wasn't breaking through because she had all the knowledge. Well, I have this energy technique that I use with my private clients that rewires the body after trauma, no matter how long ago it happened. And it actually identifies and removes the triggers so that the person can heal and move forward. So when I was using the energy technique on her, I found out that for her, she was getting triggered in the money conversation when a potential client would have a money objection. So instead of standing in her power, owning her value, speaking her truth to the potential client, not in a pushy or aggressive way, but in a way that the potential client could see the value of working together and decide if they wanted to come up with the money and make it happen or not, she would shrink back. And she would go right into survival mode and use a coping mechanism that was people pleasing. Now, what I realized through our coaching together and using this energy technique is that she had a few unhealed traumas that still had power over her. She had a history of childhood sexual abuse. She had a father that was really harsh and critical towards her. And she felt like she was never good enough, like she could never do it right. So now those unhealed traumas were stopping her from stepping more into her power in the money conversation because of the subconscious relationship to power that she had developed from those experiences. So she had learned that being in power was negative, right? So, look at the trauma of sexual abuse. So in sexual abuse, the abuser was an older person, a person in authority, a person in power. And you look at how her father treated her, a person in authority, a person in power. So subconsciously, she learned that being in power meant that someone was going to get hurt, that it was bad. So she would only go so much into her power and then stop, because to go any further meant that someone was going to get hurt. At least that is how it was wired in her body. And it was stopping her because if you're going to have your own business and you want to go to the next level, being in your power is going to be essential. But if being in your power is a trigger for you because you have past unhealed traumas, then you're automatically going to revert back into whatever coping mechanism got you through that past experience. So it could be people pleasing, shutting down, overindulging in food, alcohol, shopping, or trying to control everyone and everything. So after I used the energy technique to rewire her body so that it felt safe to step more in her power, everything changes. Everything changed. She stepped into her full power during the money conversation. She started having consistent $10,000 months. She went on her first family vacation in a really long time and paid off her debt. So her whole life changed because we rewired her body and allowed her to heal from the past trauma, and being in her power was then no longer a trigger. Now, I want to mention that she had gone to therapy for years and was on antidepressant for years to heal from her past. And there was a benefit to an extent, but it only got her so far, because talking about your past and taking medication will not remove the triggers that were put in place from that trauma, and they will not rewire your body. So right now you are in your comfort zone with how safe you feel with being in the level of power you are in. And being more in your power may look like any or all of the following, and it can be really uncomfortable. So it can look like saying no to someone when you usually say yes, but you really don't want to. So this could be saying no to a potential client that you really don't want to work with. It could be saying no to a job that you really don't want to work with, or no to a lunch that you really don't want to go on. It can mean not hanging out with friends or family members that feel like they suck the life out of you, or they're super needy, super demanding, super dramatic. It can mean having a very clear boundary with your clients about charging what you want to charge, not discounting, not giving away services for free, and making sure that your clients pay you when they said they would, or how you respond when they cancel on you last minute. You know, do you have a policy that you enforce, or do you let them get away with it? So the minute you start going outside of your comfort zone to step more into your power, you will get triggered. Someone will try to cross a boundary. And if you have unhealed past traumas, how you respond to that situation is going to be automatic. So whatever coping mechanism you used that was put in place, unless you do the inner work necessary to rewire your body from that trauma so you can heal, it's going to be used. So it's only when you have healed that you have the freedom to not be triggered and not respond in the way that you always have that keeps you exactly where you are. So if you are ready to step more in your power so you can create more of what you really want in your business and your life without being triggered, without falling into old patterns that end up screwing up your success, then I want to invite you into a complimentary breakthrough consultation with me. Now, this opportunity is for business owners that are ready right now to make changes, that are ready right now to have your breakthrough, that are committed right now to doing whatever it takes. And you'll also need to be in a place financially where you can seriously explore this opportunity of investing in yourself. So if I just described you, all you need to do is go to www.believegrowshine.com/wake up to fill out a short questionnaire to apply. So you'll find out within 24 hours if your application has been accepted. And if it is, then I'll email you and we'll set up a time to talk. So we're going to talk about what your goals are, what is holding you back, and what's possible if you were able to step more into your power. And if we're a good fit, I'm going to talk about what it would be like to work together. So again, all you need to do is go to www.believegrowshine.com/wake up, WAKEUP, to apply. I'm Colleen Suchecki. Have a great day.